The folks at Jinko Fishing not only bring you the Low Budget Live podcast, they bring you the Low Lifer sweet deals over at jinkofishing.com. All you got to do is use code LBL25 and you'll get 25% off of everything on the site just for being a low lifer. Listening to this weed eater voice saves you money on things like the tin cannon. Maybe you want a Offspring buzzbait. Maybe you need some CD25s, old big deep diving crankbaits, because we're trying to make cranking great again at Jinko Fishing. And it's all about the action and the new Dawn minnow that's coming. Trust me, you're going to want to see that too. JinkoFishing.com is where it's at. LBL 25. Express Boats, let's hang the banner. The all-welded aluminum bass smashing machine, the Express X21 Pro. That's what I'm running right now. Got the 250 Yamaha show on the back. Fastest hole shot in the game. More tackle storage than you can shake a stick at. Trust me when I say if you go take a ride in one, you'll be like, why didn't I do this sooner? They've also got bay boats. They've got a little bit of something for everybody and every budget. Check them out at expressboats.com because the folks at Express, they've been building excitement since 1966.
Damn these Biloxi blues, it happens every night.
Every old night.
And I ain't never met a riverboat dealer that could ever be a friend of mine.
Nope, have not.
Summer heat never treats me kind, it leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.
Say.
This highway does not know my name, and I don't care. No, I don't care. Headed my way for another place, and I got 3 good tires and a spare.
Right to the hook right here.
Just a white line gypsy getting out of Mississippi with just enough gas to get there.
Low budget live, the not so live variety from the Low Budget Live Barn Grill here in beautiful southern Middle Tennessee. I hope all you low lifers are doing well out there. It's good to be back in the Barn Grill. And if I look like I'm struggling a little bit, if I look like I'm more tired than normal, it's because it's been kind of a wild and crazy week. I'm recording this the morning after I took me and a friend of mine, Michael McLean, took 5 freshman boys on a frog gigging trip. And not just any frog gigging trip, ladies and gentlemen. And here in southern Middle Tennessee, and I'm very proud of this fact, our high school hosts a frog gigging tournament a couple weeks after school gets back. Frog gigging in August, not the best in the world, but we got them out there and got them on some frogs. It was a good time and fast and furious, but I was out a little later than I'm normally out. That is for sure. But Ryder Man and several of his buddies, Michael's son Andy, we had a crew. And if you've never tried to sneak up on frogs when the water's low with 5 freshman boys who don't know the word sneak, it's a challenge. It's a challenge, but we got them some frogs. Well, I had a good time with that. And then, as I told you on last week's podcast, August is very, very special. And this is the podcast for Monday, August 17th, about 9 days after my anniversary. Well, me and the triple threat, Marissa D, we took a little trip, as we tend to do every year in August. We try to go somewhere, sometimes a little more exotic than others. This time we went down to good old Cancun, got me a smoking deal on a trip, and we went down there for a few days, and it was awesome. Good trip. Ate way too much, good trip. And everything was smooth, man, going down there. And y'all know my airport woes. I tell you these stories because I feel like I got to share the pain with somebody. But flying home, we had to go through Houston. Customs took forever, run to our gate. And I thought we had plenty of time, and then customs was bogged down. And get to our gate. They're boarding. Cool. No problems. We get on the plane to Nashville, and we've been flying about, man, I'd say an hour. And pilot comes over and says, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to circle back to Houston. We've got a mechanical issue. And I'm like, wait, what? We've been in the air for an hour. So then I was watching a movie because I have to be entertained nonstop like a child. And I was watching a movie on the headrest TV there. And you can go to the air, it's got this little airplane, if you've ever messed with that you can track where you're at. Well, they've been just doing circles. So I'm like, that's odd. I look at it. Well, we've got some flight attendants sitting behind us because we were the opposite of first class most of the time. Low budget, son, low budget. And we're back there, and I'm hearing them basically talk amongst themselves. They're kind of freaking out. We have a landing gear issue. And the reason we've been circling is we're burning fuel, so we're not as heavy. And the reason we're going back to Houston, direct quote from a flight attendant to another flight attendant, is because the runway is longer for our emergency landing. What? Well, people around me are starting to hear this, around Marissa and I, and they're freaking out. And I wasn't really panicked until they started. I shouldn't say panic. I wasn't really worried until they started kind of really making sure you had your seatbelts on. Really, the pilot's kind of talking this deal up. And so, obviously, as you listen to this, we made it. Spoiler alert, we made it. But we land in Houston, crazy rough landing. But when the reality set in of what they were worried about, when we get to the runway and we finally stop, fire trucks, ambulances, cops, all on the runway around the plane. That was a first for me. I've flown a lot and fly a lot every year and have for so many years. And that was a first for me. I've seen some craziness. That was a first. Well, then we, thank God, safe and sound. And the pilot was like, in case you didn't feel that, we were on the ground safe, a little rough, but safe. And it was good. Nothing caught on fire, because I think that's the concern with that is a fire with that landing gear in the front of the plane. So, or it just breaking, from what I understood. But got on the ground, got back in, and I'm thinking, okay, we were already going to get home kind of late, and United Airlines, they gave us a meal voucher. That was cool. Everything in the airport was closed because it was late, and we did not leave Houston until 2 a.m. I got in my bed at my house at 5 a.m. Thursday morning. So I ain't really recovered, y'all. See, it was a long story about just being old, fat, and tired. But between that and frog gigging, your boy is struggling right now. But I appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Be careful out there. Be careful out there. Book your flights. Be careful. I'm 0 for 2 on my last one. I told you, because of Beyonce, I got stuck. Beyonce and weather and everything else in Atlanta last trip in July that I flew. And anyways, we're not batting 1,000 right now when it comes to flying. In the fishing world, I want to say 2 quick congrats. First of all, Laker Howell saw this morning. I missed it. That Leech Lake deal. He wins the last Open of the year. He's going to the Bassmaster Classic. I know how much time Laker puts in. Obviously, the son of Randy Howell, Bassmaster Classic champion. What a cool scenario to see Laker going to his first Classic, man. And it was only a matter of time. He's had some close calls. But in yet another weather-shortened Bassmaster Open, them boys in that division can't catch a dang break. They had to cancel day one at Leech Lake, so it becomes another shortened event, 2-day tournament, and Laker takes the dub and is going to the Bassmaster Classic. So congrats to Laker Howell and the Howell family, Randy, Robin. I know they're just over the dang moon, man. I can't even imagine what that feels like as a parent when your child chases the exact same dream you have and is having success that early. And Randy had a lot of success very early in his career too. But that's just, I don't know. Words can't describe what that feeling's probably like for them right now. And hopefully we'll get to catch up with Laker here in the next couple of weeks about it. And then the Toyota Series up in Messina, New York, Brody Campbell. And he's a dude that fishes the Invitationals. He fishes BFLs. He fishes Toyotas. if you keep up with it, with the sport at all, he is a name you better have circled about 5 times, it would appear. He's a machine. And all he does is this dude, I was reading the Toyota Series article from his win, and he says he leaves his home in Ohio in around December. He has a truck camper. He has another gentleman that he travels with that fishes these tournaments as well, has a truck camper, and they just go, man. And he's got wins this year at Sam Rayburn and on the St. Lawrence River. Tons of success, but the guy is he's a machine, and he will be, seems like his path is more that MLF side. I think he fishes every tournament he can get in, but it seems like that BPT is where he's trying to get, and I would think you're not going to be able to hold this guy down a lot longer to keep him out of it. It would seem like he's something, man. He is something. He averaged like 26 pounds a day up there on the St. Lawrence, but the dude can catch them. So congrats to Brody Campbell and Laker Howell on Opens and Toyota Series wins. All right, we're going to talk to a guy. I'm sure I've been kind of out of the loop for the most part lately, and I'm sure he's been doing the podcast rounds. He's one of my favorite characters in this whole fishing world since he came into it. I've had him on the podcast. He is. I met him years ago when he was fishing the Opens, and he was trying to get there. He's a live wire, to say the least. But he has been absolutely devastated by what I think is the craziest story in the sport of pro fishing this year. And that is, he has had to drop out from the final 2 Elite Series events due to the fact that he is suffering from crazy complications from a tick bite. And man, if you're an outdoorsman like myself and you are out in it all the time, which I am, and so many of you low-lifers are, you get ticks on you. I mean, around here, especially during turkey season, man, it's like you can't even get out of the truck. You're covered. And I think so many of us, myself included, like you, and I try to spray down and whatever, but a lot of times you find them stuck to you all over the place. And man, there's no doubt that they're carrying some stuff that we don't need in our bloodstream, or however you want to put it. And you hear these things over time, read stories, different things like, well, that won't impact me. I'm a tough dude. And Kyle, man, he's had a freaking rough go of it. So ladies and gentlemen, let's get him on here right now. The one and only Kyle Patrick. All right. As promised, we have caught up with him. He's playing hooky from these last 2 Bassmaster Elite Series events, and not that he wanted to be. Kyle Patrick, I wish you were coming on LBL to talk about your St. Clair win or your Mississippi River win, but unfortunately we're talking about some craziness is the best way I know how to describe it.
Yeah, man. It's like my dad told me, or my mom told me, she's like, it's a spiritual flat tire, because she's always said, like, you're the luckiest human being alive. And frankly, I am. I mean, look, what we do for a living, like all this stuff that like has gone right. And she's like, it's a spiritual flat tire. You get bit by a tick, which I'm sure everybody that's watching this has at some point either had a tick on them or been bit by a tick.
I probably got one on me right now I don't even know about.
Exactly.
I mean, to be fair.
Exactly. And so I get bit. I'm all good. I mean, people probably know the story, but basically I get anaplasmosis, which funny enough is like going around in upstate New York, because my dad the week before had it.
Okay.
So he had anaplasmosis from a tick bite. I get anaplasmosis from a tick bite. The difference is the doctor explained it to me, but I forget. Basically it just goes, it went to my heart, which basically just made it get a third bigger. So like if this is your
swollen membrane, essentially.
Yeah, it went a third. So it went like that big, which is really bad. Like my levels in the hospital, they were like, oh my God, dude, like we need to get you in the ICU right now, because it's just a mess the way it works. Because like your heart can only get so much bigger before it goes nuts. And like I was having these arrhythmias and shit, all from a tick bite, all from a little.
Where was this tick at? Was it in the boat? I don't see you in the woods a lot, Kyle Patrick. That's my question here. And I know you're an outdoors guy.
I play golf.
Okay.
I play golf. Dude, but here's the thing. Like we go to these places, like you go to, for example, 10 Killer. I had to park out in the grasped, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you walk to your boat, you
never know.
never know.
Yeah.
Dude, I didn't even feel a bite. I didn't see a bullseye. It must have just been like, and then hopped off that one and was like,
Enjoy your career, sucker.
yeah, he's like, have fun the next 3 months. Like,
gosh, man.
dude.
And truly, like I make that joke about you being outside. Like where I live in Tennessee, I get them on me like taking my dogs out in the yard. Like
here's the deal though, Luke. Southern ticks don't carry as much disease as northern ones.
What is it about the Yankee tick then, Cal? Let's talk about the Yankee tick. Why is it?
Dude, I don't know. I think it's just pissed off all the time, and it must just.
It's like a true New Yorker, like Manhattan, like a cabbie.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. He's like, how you doing, Long Island? You know
Hang on a second, I'm going to bring you some swollen heart, buddy.
Yeah. No, dude, it's just one of those deals. Like, it sucks, but like, I'm just happy that nothing, dude. Because see, what happened was, like, it could have gone really bad because I was out fishing in the Finger Lakes, which is like 2 hours from where I live, and like I had this chest pain in the tournament on Sunday, and I'm like, man, like my chest feels tight, like I'm doing like this and stuff, and I'm like, did I swing the golf club too hard, or like did I sleep on it weird? Because when you're 28 years old, completely healthy, you're like, chest pain.
What's this weird pain? Yeah,
I'm like stretching out and stuff, and then it actually got to the point where I told my buddy who was with me, I said, dude, my chest feels weird. I know this is going to sound weird, but just like, I'm letting you know, if something happens, you need to call 911. And he was like, what, bro? And I'm like, no. You don't worry about it, but I'm just like telling you. And I had that like thought of like, could this be something weird from the tick bite thing that I had? But I'm like, there's no way. Sunday morning, wake up, or Monday morning, the next morning, I wake up at 3 a.m. Dude, it was like knives all just stabbing me in there. And I like sat downstairs like this at 3 a.m. Caroline's like, do you need help? I'm like, no. And she's like, all right, I'm going back to sleep. I'm like, good. And I just was like this for like 20 minutes, dude. And I was like, okay, this is so bad. I got to go to the ER. So I drove myself to the ER. And they were like, buddy, you are like, basically you're cooked. Like your heart is damaged past a heart attack. Like you should have had a heart attack. So basically your troponin levels are between 0 and 20. And it's, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, buddy. All too well. Where were they?
8,800.
Good gosh, man.
So normally like you'd have a heart attack in like the
100.
Yeah. Like
I think it's
like 100 to like 5,000 or whatever. Like, dude, I was like dead. And I
may be wrong on that number, but I know where you were at is severely elevated. When I had that crazy scare a couple years ago.
Oh, you had a heart deal.
Oh yeah. I've had two. And the first one they called post-COVID pericarditis, which was after I'd had COVID, the membrane around my heart was swollen.
That's the same thing I had.
Same deal, man. And I had chest pains and craziness, thought I was having a heart attack. EKG was abnormal, but my blood level though, and they end up sending me home from the doctor. I get home, but they had drawn my blood and they called, and my troponin level, they're like, we don't know how you're alive. Essentially was the phone call with the doctor's office. They're like, we think you're either having or have had a massive heart attack.
Yep.
So we go to the ER and they're like, you're fine. It was other than a cardiologist finds, they do the deal and the heart was swollen. He's like, it'll go down.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But yeah, the troponin level, I want to think it's like, 0 to 20 is the normal range. And I want to think once you get beyond that, you are at risk. And someone that's a medical professional, if you're watching this show, I apologize if Kyle Patrick and I are giving terrible information, but we are bass fishermen. So I just know it sucks when it happens. That's what I know, Kyle, as you well know. So when you get there and your levels are that high, they're telling you this is scarier than a heart attack, essentially. Like what kind of treatment do they start? Like, what do you, cause I know, I don't think you ever had a surgery, right? Like, is this they handle this with meds, rest? I mean,
Yeah, basically. So I had what you had, but so I had myocarditis
Yep.
and pericarditis.
Yep.
Basically, your lining was swollen, which causes that like chest pain.
Pain. Yep.
And then the myocarditis actually, I just had my month checkup yesterday. It doesn't cause pain, but when you have myocarditis like I had, where the heart gets so much bigger, it's impossible not to get pericarditis because it's getting so big
Right.
that it just interferes. And so they were like, okay, basically I was freaking out in the ER because when they told me this, they were like, you're fine, basically. And then like they got the troponin back and they were like, bro, like, whoa. And so they slapped, like they were freaking me out because they like slapped like the defibrillators on me. And like not defibrillators, but like the
pads,
put everything on there to like get ready. And I started freaking out. I was having arrhythmias in the hospital. I guess it would be a ventricular tachycardia or something, where like your heart starts to get, because it's so damaged from being big that it starts getting really fast.
Hey, don't hit yourself.
I can hear the machine.
Don't hit yourself on the chest too hard on my watch.
I know. I could hear the machine. Dude, I've got my heart rate's at 72. I got to keep, dude, I'll be like doing something and I'll be like,
yeah, you're like me. You get really excited. So
I know.
Calm a little bit.
I know. So I'm in the ER and I could hear that test and I'm like freaking out. My heart rate's getting up. So they hit me with that good stuff. And I'm just like, cooked, like absolutely cooked.
I'm good.
And, but yeah, like they were like, there's nothing we can do. Like, this is one of those things where we're going to keep you here for like 7 days. I think I was in there for, we keep you here for 7 days. Hopefully in that 7-day stretch, your troponin starts to drop. Really, that's the hard thing about the heart is there's nothing really to allow it to I guess heal
swelling
quickly.
Yeah.
Because like our muscles, like if I tore my bicep, I would just rest that arm. Mm-hmm. But no one's resting your heart or else you're cooked. Like it's over.
The ticking time bomb can't rest. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically they were like, your myocarditis was so severe that it's going to take 3 to 6 months. So they were like, no more Zins. I was like, oh no. They were like, no more, no, you can't have a cold one.
I love how the Zen was your first concern. But I get it.
You know how it is.
Dude, they told me no more energy drinks. And I was like, excuse me, what did you just say to me?
Dude, they're like, no coffee, no Zins, no no cold ones, like nothing. Like I can't do anything. And you got to wear this vest.
Yeah, I remember seeing that post. Yeah, the vest.
Yeah, like I had to wear like this big, like almost like a bra, and like inside of my pocket, I had a defibrillator that was like maybe that big. So like you couldn't even fit it in your pocket unless I had to wear like stretchy pants to get it in there. Like it was just like a bulky like box. So that this last appointment, they were like, the doctor's like, look, you haven't had any arrhythmias. You don't need to wear that thing anymore. And he said, there's like, basically a 0.5% chance at this point that you would have a life-threatening cardiac event. So like, it's up to you if you want to wear it. And I'm like, I ain't wearing it. It's so annoying that I will take my 0.5% chance. I mean, I have a better chance of dying walking, down to the hardware store and getting hit by a truck. So I'm like, I'm not wearing it.
Bit by a dog.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I'm free of that. They actually put like a little monitor right here for the last.
Yeah, those. Oh yeah, bud, right there in the chest hair. It was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
They shaved my hair, and then they were like,
not shave me. They did not shave mine, and it was absolutely. If I could have filmed that, I would be a very wealthy man when I
ripping it off.
A month after, yeah, bud. Yeah, because I'm not exactly like a male model, in any regard, but I'm damn sure not when it comes to chest hair. I think my buddy Darian shaves his legs and chest because he's not a real man.
Right.
I unfortunately, you couldn't even shave mine. I don't think you could get through this forest, dude.
Yeah, exactly. No, the thing is like a month out, like I'm pretty good. Like they said, because normally I was like, could this be from, because the obvious questions are, look, I'm 28. This is really weird. The odds of a tick bite causing this, they said, are very low, but they've seen cases where it's happened, especially in New York. And I was like, all right. So like, I'm like, could this be from my like high energy lifestyle of like me drinking energy drinks, like driving through the night, fishing like back to back, like
Not enough rest. Yeah.
not resting, like, nicotine sometimes, like, and they were like, absolutely not. They were like, there is nothing, none of that could possibly cause this to happen. It's simply an unfortunate event from this tick.
So how quick did they land on, hey, this is what we think caused this? I mean, was it a day or two into being in the hospital when they're like,
It
we
was,
think of a tick
it
bite?
was probably, I was in the ER for 6 or 7 hours. And then I got checked into the ICU and the doctor came in and was like, this is what it is.
No. So I guess they've just seen cases of it.
Yeah. And they knew because, see, I had gone to the hospital because I missed this part. But basically, I got anaplasmosis the week before I was in the hospital.
Okay.
And they put me on doxycycline. It's an antibiotic that's cures or gets rid of like Lyme disease, any tick-borne illness. You're probably going to get put on doxycycline. Got put on it. Felt totally fine. That's why Friday before ICAST, just for a timeline for everyone, the Friday before ICAST, I was like, I'm good to go. I'm going to go out to the Finger Lakes and fish Cayuga and Cross Lake, back-to-back tournaments. So I went out there totally fine, was on the doxy for like 4 days at that point. I'm good to go. And I'm planning on going to ICAST Monday. And that's when I had that chest pain. So it was weird. It was like me being so sick for like 3 or 4 days leading up to that weekend and then getting better. I'm like, okay, I'm better now. But it had gotten into the heart. And then I think what had happened is maybe like being out in the sun or like it kind of exacerbated it. So it kicked it up a little bit.
Well, physical activity too, right? Like you're pushing hard to catch fish and running around all over the place. And
but they said it was good though, because they said at some point you were going to have this flare up. We're just happy that you weren't flying to Orlando or like something crazy, like, or you were in Orlando and not at the hospital here. Like, you know what I mean? So I guess
that, if Orlando hasn't seen tick bite cases, you know what I mean?
I
mean, the end situation is probably the same, right? But imagine if just the diagnosis wise.
Or just imagine being in Orlando at ICAST and having
having to go to Orlando. You got out of it. This is a really, I've known you for a while now. I think it's a pretty cheap trick that you pulled here, and all this attention and to get out of ICAST, because I won't say that I would like to get bit by a tick to not have to go to ICAST next year, but
hey, look, you don't want myocarditis though.
If you see me laying in the woods, mind your business.
Exactly. Yeah, man. Like it's just, I try to, this is one thing. Like I tried, like everything happens for a reason type deal.
Yeah.
Because man, this hurts. Like
man. I get it. That's where I'm headed with this, is that you have to skip the final 2 elites. It's your sophomore season. Things were going great.
Yeah, like I'm not saying that, and like people are like, oh, like, my buddy was like, man, like you never know, like you could have not made the classic. And I'm like, bro, look, I had 460 points. It's gonna take like 510 to make the classic. I would have needed to finish basically 80th in a row in 2 elite events, 80th and then 80th. I'm like, dude, I promise. I'm not promising you, but I'm pretty dang sure that I would have either moved up or like been right around that range. Like, I'm not saying that I would win one or like have anything crazy happen, but I'm pretty dang sure I would have made a classic. I was in 22nd in AOY. Like, I don't know, man. Like
A lot of people
that
would
pisses
play
me
places.
off.
Yeah.
Like if you had to bake a bet, if there was a line at that point, is Kyle going to make the classic or is he going to miss it? I would put everything I own that I would have made the classic. And I bet you a lot of people would take that bet.
Yeah, well, no doubt. When you're that far up in the points, and then
it's so hard to drop that far.
It is with that small of a field, especially, and with the lakes, right? You've got experience on St. Clair. You're a northern guy, but then you're not necessarily a smallmouth guy, right? I mean, you don't even claim to be. You're a largemouth guy. So then going to that upper Mississippi, yeah, man, like all bets would have been on the fact that you're going to make it. But I remember seeing the post that you're like, hey, I've got to do this. And before we hit record, you said you're not doing anything. Like you can't get your heart rate up for what period of time are you having to live that way?
So basically the doctor, so for this last month, like I wasn't doing anything. Like I said, I've got 15 extra pounds on this boy right here. Okay. Basically going from waking up at like,
it's getting hot everywhere in the country right now, and the folks at Gill want to cool you off. You can use the code LBL20 at checkout at gillfishing.com on some of their amazing sun shirts, their shorts. Get a rain suit, get your life together, and use code LBL20. Don't use anything that Todd Castledine tells you ever. Don't use his code, okay? Don't use his code. It's been brought to my attention. He's trying to sway people from using the LBL code. We can't have that low lifer. Show him what's up at gillfishing.com. Pro Guy Batteries, ProGuyBatteries.com, manufacturers of some of the best batteries in the game. Why? Because they've been in the battery business for over 40 years, whether it is their AGMs, their lead acids, or their new Alpha Series lithium line, or even their chargers. They've got it going on. ProGuyBatteries.com. You can use code LBL10 to save money at checkout, and trust me, you can trust the folks at Pro Guy Batteries. There's a lot of battery companies out there these days. Trust somebody that's been in the business for a long time. ProGuyBatteries.com. Baitworks.com, bait-wrx.com. That's the exclusive online home of this little nugget right here, the LOB Power Finesse Jig. You can get it there. You can use code Duncan-10, DUNKIN-10 on everything at baitworks.com to save you a little cash. And last but not least, I want to give a shout out to my buddy, Michael Cowart, Shallow Tails Adventures. You can find Michael at Shallow Tails, TAILS adventures at gmail.com. If you are in the panhandle of Florida on a vacation, you want to go try to catch a tarpon, you want to go try to catch a redfish, there's nobody better. Captain Michael Cowart, one of the best dudes I know. Go check him out, Shallow Tails Adventure. You will not be disappointed with a day on the water with Captain Mike.
I mean, I got in a cycle of like waking up because, dude, I can't do anything, which means I can't fall asleep. Because if I'm not like having a day where I'm like doing things, like waking up early, getting my stuff done, fishing, whatever it may be, like, dude, I remember lying in bed, like just wide awake, unable to fall asleep. So I would wake up at like 10:30, 11. I would eat. I'd eat some more. I'd chew some gum. I'd sit on the couch. Like there was not like, they're like, you can walk maybe a mile a day, which is not a lot of walking. If you think about your day, like that's like, however many steps, like 1,000 steps.
Mm-hmm.
So do the math when you walk out of here or out from watching this show to, like if you have a watch, like you can see a mile a day is nothing. So I'm not able to do anything for 4 weeks. And when I say anything, I mean anything. Like I was hardly able to take a crap. Okay. I couldn't push too hard. Like it was like that. Okay. So like, I mean, it was
these dang ticks, dude.
Dude,
we gotta take them out, man.
Yeah. So then I actually had a scare 3 days ago, and this is the mental side of this injury that really messes with you. Okay. Like I'm lying down, and this is 3.5, this is 4 weeks after getting this. I had my doctor's appointment the next day. So this is 4 days ago. I got like kind of a weird sensation like down here. And now mentally I'm going, oh my God, is it back? Is it back? Is it back? My heart rate starts getting up. And I'm like, I'm actually on the phone with Brandon Polinick. I didn't tell him this, but I'm talking with him. And as I'm driving myself to the ER, because I'm so, and I didn't want to freak him out. So I didn't say anything. If he watches this will be the first time he hears this. But I psyched myself out. And it's a mental deal with the heart thing because you're like, you can't see that it's fixed or feel that it's fixed. So I get into the ER, and dude, mind you, I have the worst insurance ever because I pay for it myself. Like I've already smoked my deductible, and it's like 10 G's. So like I've already paid. Like I'm whatever. I'm like, I'm going to the ER. Health matters first. So I get to the ER, and they're like, everything looks fine, and I'm like, what could this have been? And I'm like, I'm not making it up, but like it might just be that I was moving a little too much because I haven't moved in a while, and like my ribs or something. So like this is a mental battle as much as it is physical with this type of stuff because you're unable to feel changes or see changes at all.
Well, and dude, you're spot on with that. When I talked about what I went through, I had another episode last fall that was very similar and had a bad EKG reading, spent 5-6 hours in the ER. But every day, I'm like, wait, what was that? Yeah. And I'm even more paranoid now. My dad had a massive heart attack and passed away last November. So it runs in my family. He had a sister that has had 2 heart attacks. You know what I mean? Like it's in my DNA to kind of have heart issues. I also am not taking care of myself too well. I like to eat Sonic. Okay. All right. I got to get that back on the tracks as well. But I think you're smart to be cautious though, man, because I hear so many stories, and not to freak you out or anybody else watching this, but I've had friends that they'll go to the ER 6 times, dude, and think they're having something with their heart. And they're like, no, you're good. No, you're good. And then all of a sudden something happens. And they're like, oh, you got a 90% blockage in this heart. 6
and
months
it's like, how do you miss that?
Yeah. How do you not know that this guy they're like, oh, that's in the Widowmaker. Like I have multiple friends that this has happened to that tell you these stories. So it's like, it's better to be the guy that's like, hey, now, but it will with me too. Like, I've never had blood pressure issues at all. But when I get to the ER, my blood pressure's through the roof because I'm like, like this is because it's a stressful situation, and you can get yourself worked up.
They call it white coat blood pressure. And that's when the minute you see the white coats, like the doctors, blood pressure, because I have the same thing. Yeah. Like, dude, I was in that ER and they're like, dude, is your blood pressure usually this high? I'm like, no, dude, it's because I'm in here. And if you tell me something's messed up, I'm talking about potentially missing next year's season because all these docs know now. Yeah. I'm like, dude, like, this is what I do. If you tell me I can't fish, like, that is a big deal. Because I had this discussion with them when I left the ICU. I was like, can I fish? And they're like, yeah, I don't see any reason you can't fish. And I'm like, okay, hold on. No, like
not a bobber.
I'm not throwing a bobber off the dock, champ. Okay. And I at this point, actually, I had the head of cardio came in and he knows my family and said, like, because Cooperstown's such a small, like, you've got doctors living right here, right? So I'm like, look, you know what I do? Like, can I do this? And he's like, absolutely not. Literally not a chance. And I'm like, between
boat rides and just the intensity of it all.
He's like, dude, you catch a 6-pound smallmouth on St. Clair and it jumps at the boat. Like, you could have an arrhythmia and die while you're reeling in that smallmouth on FS1. How would you like that? And I'm like, I definitely would not.
No, nobody wants that.
But
unbelievable, man.
Yeah. So back to my story real quick. I go to the ER, I get out, everything's fine. And I had this checkup, and this is back to what you had asked me. I'm sorry, I got off track. And he's like, look, you're healing phenomenally well. Like your troponin is down. It's now 15, which is perfect. That's right where you need to be. My liver enzymes are a little up from that infection, like still from that tick bite, my liver enzymes are off, which is 4 weeks later. So like pretty crazy. But he was like, man, like you still got 2 months of pretty much chilling. Like you probably can't fish the EQs, which I really was pissed about because I wanted to jump in there to try to make the classic. The EQs, he said, you can't fish Champlain. September 18th, you can't do it. I'm like, okay. He's like, but like, I could see you, you know, taking a cart and like swinging the golf club a little bit, or like, he's like, you can have a cup of coffee, like 1 cup. I had 1 cup today. He's like, so like after 4 weeks, like I'm able to like not wear the vest, have a cup of coffee. You know, he's like, you can go out. He did say you can go graph. He's like, heat and everything, it won't bother it. You're healed enough to where like you can go to the St. Lawrence and graph Ontario. I was like, okay, that's cool. Like at least I'll feel like I'm doing something. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Well, mentally, where are you at? I mean, are you good? Or I mean, obviously, dude, seeing the season, seeing St. Clair wrap how it did, seeing the points race headed into this last tournament. I mean, dude, I know you got to be upset, obviously, that you're not there. Your health is the most important thing, but it's got to weigh on you a little bit because, like you said, would have been your 3rd Bassmaster Classic, man, 3 years straight. That's incredible. I don't think enough people are even talking about that. Like you've had a hell of a run. You won an Open to get in your first year, but that was the same year you qualified. Then you made it through the points, which is not easy to do in your rookie year. You've had a great sophomore season, which is not easy to do because normally that's when guys the sophomore slump.
Well, dude, I thought it was going to happen. I started off the tournament in 96th.
Yep.
I finished in St. John's 96th place, and like I grinded my way back, and I was like,
man. It's a hell of a comeback, but and so I know it's weighing on you, but hopefully you'll be all good to go. And I kind of feel sorry for the guys next year when you're back. I feel like you're gonna be angler of the year or nothing next year, man.
Yeah, man. Like I think something crazy is gonna happen. I don't know about AOI. It is so hard. That stuff's like insane. But you never know. You never know. Yeah, like mentally, I'm at peace with that side of things. I think because it's a matter, like you said, it's a matter of like, do I want to fish the rest of my life, or do I want to fish a Bassmaster Classic? Remember, like when I take a medical exemption, I get my AOY.
Right.
So like my 23rd or 22nd, whatever it is, that's my year.
You get that. Okay.
That makes it a little bit easier from a sense of like, okay, I was started this year in 96, climbed my way back, and it wasn't for nothing.
Yes.
Because if I had ended, because remember, those first 2 years on the elites are so important because like last year I had a 16th. If this year I had an 80th, dude, that average is not good.
Yeah.
But if you have a 16th and a 23rd, now I'm looking at a 19 average. That is money. That's like,
and he's talking, folks. If you don't keep up with all this craziness, and it can be hard to keep up with requalification, you will get booted. Your average is what they go by, and that average matters, and it's very hard for the new guys coming in.
Because you're competing. Because just so everyone understands, you're competing against 100 guys on averages, some of which have a 30-year average.
Yeah.
So like if for 25 years they never missed the top 10, like Patrick Walters will probably do, you freaking, then you have 5 years of 100 place finishes. His average drops to a 12 or like a 14. Whereas me, I have a 16 and then I have 100. Well, now my average is like 60 or whatever, 50 or something. So I'm immediately getting cut over any of those guys. So that's why your first 2 years, really your first 3, are so important that you do not have a bomb year. You have to not have a bomb year because the way that they're cut, I mean, it is so easy. Like there are multiple guys that had stellar year ones that just don't play, they don't just have a rough season. It happens to everyone. Year 2, and then you're catching up for the next 5 years.
No doubt about it. And I talked to a lot of guys on the elites, as you know. I'm friends with a lot of y'all, and that conversation on career average, I feel like happens more and more and more and more. And it's the same on BPT, to be fair, because when the rookies come in there, like and their field's getting smaller. I talked to a guy this week, as a matter of fact, that he was talking about that, man. Like, yeah, if I, had a top 10 there at Saginaw, it helped me out, man, kind of get back in the swing of things with my average. And it is such a big deal. And I
love it.
Oh, I do too, man. I think it's how it needs to be. my biggest gripe with it is, and I said this on a podcast earlier this year. Tommy and Zona did a podcast talking about who's in and who's out potentially, and I love that. I'm like, man, I think that gives the fans something to keep up with. So I almost wish that the career average portion of it was just another tab on the website. You know what I mean?
I actually do
career
too.
stats. Why not see where Kyle Patrick's at in the overall Elite Series?
Yeah.
You're like, hey, he's my guy. I'm pulling for him. Okay. Oh, sweet. He's locked in, man. He's in there. And you look at another guy you follow, and you're like, oh gosh, he's down there. He's like,
got to have a good year.
Yeah, he better have a good year.
Like, yeah, I think that Bassmaster could get a lot more in depth. Like, they could be the leader as far as stats go.
For sure.
And that's where they need to. NPFL too. Like that goes. I don't know how it works at NPFL. I'm sure
we don't have.
But in the next 5 years, you will probably start to have to.
For sure.
I'm just telling everyone, take notes, because like what you said is exactly accurate. Like, who wouldn't love to see like all the tiny little details about like, oh, like, you know, Kyle needs to finish top 20 next year to make it. And then they're following not only the AOY list, but then individual AOYs.
Yeah, I think
it's great.
I think it's a storyline if you're the guys on live. I think it's a storyline for fans. I just, put it out.
Dude, it's a sport. Like for the longest time, I feel like we're hiding. I mean, not as much anymore. It's getting better, but for the longest time, we've been hiding.
Yeah, JT Kinney said on this show, and everybody that listens to this is probably rolling their eyes because they've heard me say this a million times since he said it. But he said, in the sport of professional bass fishing, we cover up what we should cover. And there's never been a truer statement made. And I'm talking about from whether it's a cheating scandal, whether it's which now those get unearthed most of the time, but it's things like that. It's the behind the scenes. Like, listen, man, I remember being on the tour and you're watching guys that are down to their last dime that might not even have enough money to get home. Like that kind of emotion. I just think it draws people into, the people they follow, but then to understand there's a reality to this before you get on your keyboard talking about whoever not catching them, or like, understand there is a whole layer to this. And now look, all you guys choose this lifestyle, right? Like, you choose this as a profession, but it is a high pressure gig. It is a high pressure gig, man.
It's crazy. And that's, I think, partly why they said too, like, look, you can't do it because he's like, look, just because he said to me, this guy knows fishing, right? He said to me, he's like, look, is not being at the Classic or like withdrawing right now, is it going to ruin your career for the next 5, 10, 15 years? And I'm like, no, it's just going to suck for the short term. And then next year's Classic is especially going to suck when I'm working the booths. I love my sponsors, but like, I should not be working those booths. And I'm thinking to myself, like, it's not going to affect the long run of Kyle Patrick's career. So it's just not worth it.
It's just getting started, man. You're just getting started. You made the right decision for sure.
That pressure, though, is the main reason. They're like, if you could just go out there and feel no pressure, sit in a seat, guarantee that there was no foul weather coming in, on St. Clair, guarantee that you're going to fish within a mile or two of the ramp and sit there and just bob up and down with a friggin' drop shot or a minnow or whatever. They're like, you're good.
Just throwing a grub, just reeling a grub.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, they're like, man, it's just not worth it. And I'm like, okay. Cause it took me a while to make the decision. Like, in fact, I had to make the announcement on my Instagram, not because I made the decision, but because that made the decision for me. Because then I had to tell everyone this is what I'm doing so that I would do it.
Hold you to it. Yeah. Totally hold you accountable. I totally understand that. For dang sure. I've done that myself on a couple things over the years. Like, hey, you throw it into the ether, here we go. Now you're kind of stuck in this position. So talking about next year a little bit, what are your thoughts on the overall scope of the industry? Scope, no pun intended, but that's where I'm headed with this. But what would you like to see? What's a perfect world for Kyle Patrick on the Elite Series where you choose to reside? And I know you're a fan of what MPFL does, and we've talked about MLF's rules and things, and you love forward facing sonar. You use it. You're great with it. but also you are a shallow water guy. Like we've covered this.
Yeah. See,
But what would you like to see?
Yeah, like what's my take is pretty neutral. In that I just want what is best for bass fishing and the sport, not what I think is best for bass fishing in the sport. That's the biggest thing. People are like, "What? I'll tell you what's best for the sport," and then they shoot out their opinion, and it's like, that's what you think is best for the sport, not what is best for the sport. Everyone has their opinion, and I don't get me wrong, I'm great with forward facing sonar, but I'm not the best. I am not even close. I would say I'm close to close-ish in relative terms, but when it comes to competing with guys like Trey McKinney, Jason Currett, all the Jacob Wheeler, Dustin Connell,
Patrick
Walters, like
Kyle Welcher now is a freak with it also.
Dude, and I'm there. Everything. I'm there. Like I can compete with him, with any of those guys on any given day. However, I'm not as good as a lot of those guys are. That's a fact. And I'm not afraid to admit that. Like, I'm never going to be like, I'm the best scoper there is, because it's not true. Drew Gill
dude,
absolutely destroys me in scope. Like, if I had to bet my life, you versus Drew Gill on Champlain smallmouth tournament, go, I'm like, oh, shit. I'm like, I'm in trouble. Okay, like I don't want to. I felt like I could win the Toyota Series there. Yeah. I had a great, like I missed it by like 10 ounces or something, but I still would be like, oh boy, like I'm in trouble.
I wouldn't want to fish against Drew Gill in a garbage can in my backyard.
Well, dude, but
like, here's a 9-pounder, Luke. Did you know?
Yeah, yeah, but like people are like, oh well, Kyle's like so good at scope. Not. I don't consider myself so good at scope. I am above par. And I can compete with anyone, but like it's sort of like being like, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but
I get it. There are levels.
I am in the top 10%, but I am not necessarily in the top 1%.
And those 1%ers are the ones that make a lot of noise, dude.
And I'm not saying that I'm not going to win tournaments. I'm not saying I'm not going to win a classic. I'm not saying that I'm not going to win AOY. But like when it comes to guys, I think there's like 5 guys that are that like him at scope.
No,
they are
There's no doubt about it.
And they're and you're just like, good God. Like they're not, I'm not saying that they're like being really good at scope isn't necessarily being the best fisherman.
That's
especially
true.
With this year's schedule and next year's schedule. In my opinion, you can be the best at scope and not even come close to winning AOY.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
and I think that's a testament to Trey right now and how good of a fisherman he is.
Dude, at all. Hate him or love him. He's so good at fishing.
Dude, Trey has been a controversial figure since he's came into this deal. It's weird to say that about a 19-year-old young man, but it just is what it is.
Well, I mean, when you're making that much noise,
that's right. It's inevitable. But dude, you got to give credit where credit's due, and the fact that like he can hit a lot of different pitches. And everybody's like, look at that young little boy in his live scopes in his mama's basement. Like, I love those comments. And I'm like, buddy, you do not want him to come fish the BFLs with you.
Yeah, yeah. He's like the guy's like the guys in his basement's like,
yeah, here we go. Oh, he won again? That 19-year-old succeeded in life? Let's get him. But
no, dude, and like that's the thing is like, so back to the question, like, what would I want to see? First of all, I want to start seeing guys that are professional anglers. And when I'm saying in quotes, like they are, but I want to see guys that are professional anglers fishing on the Elite Series, on the Bass Pro Tour, start acting like professional anglers. Because there's a whole lot of dudes. I'm not going to say a whole lot, but there's a bunch of dudes on the Elite Series. I don't know about Bass Pro Tour, but I assume on the Bass Pro Tour that are just like mad. They're mad and they have their own opinion and they're trying to sway the sport to what they think the sport should be, not what's best for the sport. And like, I just want to see them have a little more like open-mindedness going on rather than so fixated on one thing and that scope. Now, if they came out and said scope is truly bad for the industry, tackle sales, everything, ban it right there. Don't go 50-50. Don't go 50-50.
No hokey pokey.
Stupid. Dumbest thing ever. If Bassmaster goes 50-50, I'll be heavily disappointed in them. And I'm a Bassmaster fan. Even when they mess up, I'm still on their side. And I'll say that to anyone. Like they have messed up and they will continue to mess up in big ways. But that's just life. And I am a Bassmaster guy through and through. But if they go 50-50, I will come out and tell them how dumb it is. And I will come out on social and tell them how dumb it is. I'll come out everywhere and say it's the dumbest thing ever. Inconsistent, trying to be too much like MLF, like do your own thing, make the right decision. If it's the best decision for the industry is no forward facing, then go no forward, because you can't have an in-between. I don't like the in-between. It's a sport.
Yeah. I mean, I've said 50-50 would be cool. I did bring that up to MPFL. It's like do half with, half without, because the word ban scares me. I don't like the word ban, but I will say I've done 5 of 6 events this year. It's been awesome. Not because we banned it, but just because it hasn't been a talking point for people. Yeah. They've been pissed off at other things. Listen, Kyle, fans don't like floggers. You find out all kind of it's like you can't win. We're fishing red mud at Lake Eufaula in Oklahoma in June, and they're pissed off because they're flipping with braided line or whatever. Like people are going to be pissed off on social media regardless. But I do think with bass, and we talked a little bit about this, and again, this is Luke's opinion, not anybody else's. And I work for a couple tournament organizations, one that allows it in the ABT, and one that doesn't. Me personally, I like live scope. I use it a lot. I'm not great with it, but I definitely use it daily in the ways that I like to fish. Now, I've really adapted it to whether I'm shallow or offshore. Like I really like it. I would hate for it to be banned. I will just say it straight up. I like it. I like it a lot. But I think for bass, it is tricky to kind of go back on, you kind of stood your ground, made a couple little changes, but like you were going to be that league. Yeah. And I think after MLF makes changes and then MPFL does the ban, and you've seen the positivity that's gone that way with those changes, you've been the leader in the sport for so long, right? You've been the OG.
Leader. Look, this is what I always say, leader in the sport. Bassmaster pretty much made the sport.
They started it. No, they're forever the OG. Like, I don't care how many, if 50 other tournament trails come up, it's still Bassmaster, dude.
Yeah, like Bassmaster literally was like, oh, people like to catch a largemouth. This is a
Ray Scott. Yeah, here we go. And the classic is the biggest thing in bass fishing. I don't care how many other championships you have and what you call them and what you do around them. Like it is, as long as it exists, it's the biggest and baddest. But I think it's a little weird. And it sounds like it is 50-50 as far as, and maybe it depends on who you talk to on the day, as far as angler wise, what the anglers are seeing, thinking, wanting.
That's my problem with it.
Exactly. Oh, I get it. I get it. It's a selfish thing
on both sides. Everyone's being selfish.
Absolutely.
As they should be, though. This is part of the issue. The fact that Bassmaster gave us a choice.
Can't do it.
In the matter is insane, because everyone has to look at their career as a business. Like you should. Like that's normal. Mm-hmm. Like people, I know I say I wish that people wouldn't look at it selfishly, but then again, like they got to do what they got to do. They need to
individual sport, sport, individual business,
individual sport, individual business. Like those guys are like no forward-facing sonar. They want no forward-facing sonar, not because it's good for the industry. Don't let them kid you. That's like a load of shit. They want no forward-facing sonar because it's better for them as fishermen. And the guys that want forward-facing sonar, they want it because it's better for them as fishermen. And that's the bottom line.
That's dead on, because I feel like a lot of heat gets placed on the veteran guys that don't want it. And I'm like, well, can we talk about the guys that are all for it? Because it's been their entire
career. If you got a live scope when you were 16 years old and started tournaments, like no shit, you don't want it banned.
Of course.
Like, no, that's obvious. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing. Like, people, and that's why I'm upset that, like, we're like, this whole group that we've started, it's been great, but all it's been about is forward-facing sonar.
Of course.
We have not, and frankly, there's been some things accomplished that are good, I think, but like, it's been so focused on forward-facing sonar and everyone's opinion. I mean, there's been like, I just wish Bassmaster would be like, look, maybe have a meeting at the beginning of the year, a meeting at the end, and say, you know, this is what we found. Like, Bassmaster should know if it's good for the sport or not, because if it's good for them and us, sponsor-wise, dollar, you know, viewership-wise, they've got all the numbers. They should be like, we're keeping it or we're banning it. And there's nothing you guys can do about it. This is the sport. This is it.
This is
if
what
you
we're
don't
doing.
like it, go to the NPFL. We have an amazing platform that pays out $100,000 for first. You can build a career at the NPFL. That no one is telling you have to stay at the Elite Series. I mean, that's just the facts, dude. You guys have done a great job. Like, go fish the NPFL.
Well, I appreciate that.
There's nothing wrong with going to fish the NPFL. You were competing for $100,000. You guys have great live coverage. What are we doing here? Why do we need to conform? Like, as a business, take your business decision and make the right business call for you without telling the organization that you're fishing at what to do for your business. Just go make the right decision for your business.
Historically, in the sport of bass fishing and pro fishing, and I've been around
Heart rate.
I should have been. Your heart rate good. I was gonna say we need to get it. Somebody get Kyle a water here.
Seriously.
That can send you a water.
Yeah.
But historically in the sport of bass fishing, it has been a selfish sport. It is. And this is going to be kind of a controversial statement, but in my opinion, yes, we are customers, and people hear me say this all the time. If you support Tournament Trail, you are a customer. Your opinions should matter, and you should be able to speak up. You should be able to do whatever. But when it comes to a business, you cannot have 100 people running your business, 100 different people with 100 different agendas. You cannot do that. That's why the PAA, the Professional Anglers Association, failed miserably. It failed because it was a bunch of jacklegs. They're like, whoever the president of the PAA was, every year, that dude would just have on his jersey immediately all the PAA sponsors. And you're like, well, hang on a second there, Ricky. What's going on? And it's just because it is a selfish sport. I use that example a lot because I saw that. Like, I worked a lot of those events. I was around those events, and you'd see it, and I'm like, hang on. This is for the greater good of the pros or the greater good of like 4 or 5. So I think you can't have, and I think that was kind of the disaster with Bass Pro Tour. The first couple of years was they had these big groups, and you're under you're under this guy, you 5 guys, and you tell us what you think, and you're in this little text group, and then these guys over here, and we're all going to make this better. And then at the end of the day, there's still a couple guys making the decisions. And that's when you get people pissed off, because when you tell people they have a say and then you ultimately make the decisions, that's where the big pushback comes from. So I just think as a business, like, you've got to just make the decision, like you said, and guess what? This is what our rules are. And I bet
you would avoid.
And I bet you still show up. I bet you still show up.
I bet you still show up. Exactly.
You still show up. I see it all the time. Dude, people, Alabama Bass Trail. Miss Kay Donaldson does a killer job. The trail's amazing. Sold out for next year. 450 boats, 2 different divisions. It sold out in 3 minutes this past Friday. Okay. 3 minutes. 3 minutes. Okay. I'm very proud to be a part of that organization.
Jesus.
But I'm going to use this as an example. We had a couple things earlier this year. It's amazing. The guys we're not coming back. We're never signing up again. Dude, 3 minutes. And I'm like, and you go, it's a great platform. It's a great organization. You may, like you said with Bassmaster, they're the OG. You may be upset with how things are going, but at the end of the day, if you leave, they're going to be somebody else.
It's like a crack addict. It's like a crack addict being upset that the prices rose and saying, I'm going to a different dealer. Where?
Yep.
Where?
That's the dude. Watson and I had that conversation multiple times when he'd get frustrated with BPT before he ended up ultimately being cut. But he used that. Hey, he's like, we're crack addicts. He's like, they tell us what we're going to do, and we come back. You may be pissed off about it, but you're going to come back.
And here's the deal. This is why I wish Bassmaster would do that a little more. You get the group going. Bassmaster's like, okay, we'll let you guys handle it. Fight. One side's angry at Bassmaster. The other side gets angry at Bassmaster. Fight. And then Bassmaster ultimately makes a decision that people don't like. So then it's just anger. If Bassmaster would have just said, hey, look, end of discussion. We're
This is
keeping
what it is.
sonar. It would have been like anger. Okay, we're coming back. Good. Like no one would discuss it again. But when you get everyone, all these businesses, I'm not even saying pros anymore. All these businesses, anger for 12 months. And then Bassmaster makes a decision. All of a sudden, everyone's going, well, what were we even talking about this for?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I've heard there's a lot.
What, 50-50 still is going to make both sides angry.
Yeah. And it's still, you're still going to see the dumbass Facebook gallery of, of course he only won because of scope. Well, of course he won because it was no scope. It's been both. Like I've seen guys tear apart the Greg Hackneys of the world because of their success in the MPFL this year, or Jason Christie. And I'm like, have you lost your damn mind? Do you know what a legend is? They're like, can't catch them at Bassmaster anymore. You're like, dude, hang on a second.
You're like,
are you kidding me? Like I've read things like that this year, which nothing I read really surprises me anymore. The internet is a dumpster fire most of the time. But truly, man, we're at a weird spot again. I feel like I've said that for the last 2 or 3 years as a sport. It's just kind of weird. And
here's the other weird thing, Luke. Now I'll just add quickly. And this has been said to me by many people. It's interesting because you have the guys that don't want forward-facing sonar from a business perspective and maybe from an entertainment perspective, like guys, they don't want it. They are very loud about it. Mm-hmm. They are very vocal. But then you have rookies, my sophomore class, other people, they're not loud about keeping it, or they're not as loud and as upfront about, no, this is what we want. And I think that's a problem. And I think it's maybe because they feel uncomfortable with that. But I think that's where you see people are like, well, everyone wants it banned. I don't think so. I don't think that's true. Yeah. I don't think that's true. I think they're just so loud about it up here that it's probably more like right in here, but
squeaky wheel, dude. Squeaky wheel. If you go through Facebook comments, squeaky wheel, you'll see the same goofy names or their fake profiles or whatever on every fishing post.
Same goes for the pros, though. Same goes for the.
I will agree. It's the same. It is the same guys, and I think we've just got to find a common ground. And look, I've said this a million times. Devil's advocate. I get it, dude. I'm 42 years old, and I've bass fished since I was 9 or 10 years old. This sport has changed so much in that time frame. For the better, some of it for the worse, whether that's, a lot of secrets are exposed these days. And I live on the Tennessee River, dude. I've seen a lot of stuff get blown up and different things, but I would argue, and I've argued on this show multiple times, that there have been significant improvements to technology that have far impacted the sport, even worse than LiveScope, as far as where I live. And I was talking to a good friend of mine on Friday, who's a hammer on Kentucky Lake, and he said, dude, you can throw all that away, but trust me, and I've said it on the show multiple times, Navionics did as much to train wreck bass fishing and spot lock and trolling motor, as far as I'm concerned, offshore game wise, helping guys understand what people were sitting on that they had seen sitting out there in the abyss forever. Like that changed things to me. Now, all this working in
it's just like LiveScope's like compounding.
Right. For sure. LiveScope is absolutely the craziest game changer we may ever see in our lifetime, as far as you and I are concerned. Sport fishing. I can say that with great confidence. But I think side imaging, all these things, man, monumentally changed the way I bass fished 25 years ago.
Notice though, notice though the guys that were really good with that stuff, better than everyone else, are the same guys now that are complaining about LiveScope.
A lot of them.
That's just the truth. That's just the truth. And that's why I'm saying not And I'm not blaming those guys because that's just being smart with your business. Why would you complain if you're like, okay, why would you complain if you're like an oil executive right now if Trump's in office? Like you want that. That's like, this is good. Let's go. You know what I mean? Or I don't know if that's a good example, but you get where I'm going. Like, like it's, you want things that are good for your business. But then again, don't kid everyone and say, oh, well, it's best for the whole sport. Just be like, this is what I want because I want it for me. It's just like Scope. Scope helps me a lot with especially going to these lakes where I'm competing against guys like Gerald Swindle, who Gerald's like, oh, I know I've fished this like so many times. I know a little spot where I can make a cast with my jig and catch a bass, every day when we'll pull up there. And I'm going out there. I've got 3 days of practice and I'm like, I've never been here in my entire life. I haven't been. Every year we've had the schedule. I think this year there's 3 places that I've been to ever. I've never fished Guntersville in my life.
No kidding.
Not kidding. Ever. So when I go to Guntersville, dude, my advantage as far as understanding what's going on and like spots to fish, dude, I am like compared to Gerald. He fishes every day on that place pretty much. Yeah. So Live Scope helps me even that out with him. I can put it down and be like, okay, look at this grass line. Okay, maybe there's a stick up over here. So I want it. And I think people know that, but I'm just making sure that everyone understands what I'm telling you. For my business, I want it to stay 100%.
Well, of course. And those guys don't, because they had and I say those guys, a lot of the veteran guys, they had a legitimate advantage over a rookie class when they went places. And there's never been, and Randy Blockett will probably make a clip of me saying this, but there's never been anything more evident than seeing the MPFL points right now. I feel like that because we've gone to some massive bodies of water in some kind of crazy conditions that, Jason Christie, Greg Hackney, they've been to a lot, and like, the St. Lawrence, dude, it's a daunting fishery. And I would say half of our field this year had not been there. And then you go out of Messina. Well, dude, you automatically, those guys that have been there so many times, when you take that away, where it does shorten that you can find fish, and so you don't have to look for that one cast deal as much, that rock and a hard place, so to speak. It definitely, that experience comes screaming through. But like you said, there's also this 1% of these scopers that are so like, I respect the hell out of the fact that they're that much better than me and you and everybody else. It's just like, to me, watching Greg Hackney work cypress trees. He's going to fish them better than me every single time, or whatever, insert specialty here.
And I think here's what I think that people miss too, is like certain people, I would say like from fishing shallow on forward with scope, like, cause scope's more complicated than people give it credit. Like when you get in 15 feet, or I'm going to say, 12 feet or less on forward with scope, I think I'm top 1%. Like if you want to fish shallow structure, stuff like that with me, like the way Kyle Welcher was catching them, I found that bite, that stretch, and they were all 1-pounders in that tournament.
Wow.
That where he fished, and I think many people can tell you that. Pasquotank, day one, I pulled in to that bend where he was fishing, literally right by takeoff. I hit every one of those stumps he hit. Literally like this with my scope going like this. I hit every one of them. I did not catch a fish over 2 pounds.
Whoa.
So that's what I'm saying. Like when it comes to shallow scope, I'm pretty dang dialed in with it. But to compete against someone throwing a minnow, dude, they are next level good. Like Trey McKinney proved it at the St. Clair. He fished around. Mark Zona said it. He fished around everybody and no one even touched him. No one even touched him. Throwing the same stuff, dude. Like imagine watching someone, like this is what you didn't have back in the day. Like imagine being like within eyesight, like across a room from someone, and you are throwing the same bait, the same line, the same equipment, and they are just
blistering
him.
for 4 straight days. Not
And
one.
it's not, and
It's
not even like he was. It's not even like he was like, oh, like I'm casting at this rock, dude. He was zigzagging. So like you were fishing the same fish, and it's not like he got lucky, like you said. One day it's like, okay, like I messed up, like 4 days.
Yeah, 4 straight days of just blistering everyone around him. Yeah, that speaks volumes. And I I don't know, man. I just think that's where the argument I wish people would take their blinders off a little bit and go, there's something special to a select group of these guys. And again, the argument, everybody in the field has it, other than John Cox. I think everybody's got it. Everybody's got it.
I haven't heard him say
He won't.
a word.
He does his deal, man. John's one of the most.
Does his deal.
He does his deal.
He makes classics. Like
does his deal. He does his deal, man.
Man. Like he's like, either way, I'm content. Like it's good for my business. I'm gonna be me. That's where you really see like John Cox definitely for his business, it would be better if he didn't have scope.
Maybe.
Right.
If he did, or if you mean if it wasn't allowed.
If it wasn't allowed.
But maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't
with that because if everybody's out in the middle.
I know.
Which he does say, so he said on this show that sometimes they get intercepted now. He's like those fish that he's like, I got guys over my shoulder. He was talking about the classic specifically. And he's like, Easton's over here. I got this roadbed thing I'm working with my crankbait and Easton's right out here behind me. And I noticed after a day of Easton,
it's in there.
Yeah. And he's intercepting them, so I think there's some conversation to be had with that too. But I don't know, man. I feel like you and I can't figure it out. Most likely we won't be able to make everybody happy. I will say this, and I'm talking, you brought Swindle up, who is one of my favorite humans, and that's well documented, been great to me in life. Darian went up, and my buddy, stupid dumb Darian, went up and fished with G after St. Clair. He texted me, he's like, hey man, I'm gonna go up and spend a couple days with G. And Darian and I fish a good bit together. We've scoped together. We do the ABTs together and all that stuff. And he told me, he said, dude, Gerald Swindle is so unbelievably good and better at 95% of the people I've ever been in the boat with live scope that he's like, it's terrifying. He's like, I'm talking about, he knows what to do. He makes the right cast every time. He's like, it would take me 50 times to even maybe try to get one to bite. And he's like, G's just up there like a samurai. And he goes, now, and he's like, gee, I feel like you're pretty good at this. And he goes, not even in the realm of these boys. But G said that. And he's like, and Luke, because we watch people do it a lot. He goes, I'm telling you, dude, like he's phenomenal at it. Like he spent a ton of time getting better at it. And I don't think that gets enough credit. It's not that these guys can't do it.
No,
they very much can do it and are willing to do it. But man,
I think it's such a good point. Like that's what people have a hard time wrapping their head around, because it's been portrayed as cast catch. But like that's how it has been though. Like if you think about it, and like someone that, especially people that don't know the sport, I think that's a lot of the commentary is people that aren't out there and know the sport.
Sure.
Because dude, I get into, for example, I was in the boat with my cousin. This was like 6 months ago, and he doesn't fish. And he was like, dang, dude, you can see the fish down there. Isn't that cheating? And I'm like, and you've heard people say that. I'm sure. It's like, and they're not an ill intent in their mind. They're just like, isn't that kind of like cheating? And I'm like, I could see how you would think that, but think about it like, like a baseball, right? If everyone can use a cork bat, is it cheating, or is that guy just that much better at hitting home runs?
Exactly.
I mean, and then, okay, take away the cork bat. Jesus, Caroline. Take away the cork bat. Dude, she's the only ring that goes through on my phone, no matter what.
Trey Swindle has been broken up with twice because of this podcast. Don't lose a lady over there.
Oh, I know. And he was like, that makes sense. But like, just from an outside perspective, he's like, it just feels crazy that you can see the fish. And I'm like, dude, I get it. But like, believe it or not, none of those fish we want to catch. Like those are all carp.
Yeah. Well, I think that when those posts go viral of a video of maybe, an Easton at the Classic, and they definitely get out of the Bassmasters algorithm, right? Like their follower base, those are some of the comments you see is like, these guys got more screens than I've got in my house. And
Yeah.
now a lot of those are fishing fans too, but you see a bunch that you're like, this dude doesn't, because I'll get, anytime I have a post that gets outside of the deal, I've had like 5 or 6 this year, you just see them. Like, you're like, dude, you don't even like what are you talking about? Or you get saltwater guys involved chirping and you get all this stuff. So it's
I mean, James is familiar with getting out of the algorithm with his posts. He knows how it is. He really does. Oh God, I'm sorry. I've been on that recently, and it's so good.
I love James Nickmeyer. Josh Butts and I talked about this forever. It's the greatest thing that's ever happened in fishing, in my opinion.
Is.
James is the last human on earth that I ever saw this happening for. I saw him at the Classic this year, and I hadn't seen James in a couple of years. I stopped him and we sat there and called up for a second. I was like, dude, I just gotta say, I mean, God bless you for just being able to just keep delivering your message and being you, no matter what hailstones are getting thrown at you.
No matter.
He told me that day, he goes, the only unfortunate part is I do feel like I'm in the 7th grade getting picked on all the time. He told me that. And I felt bad for him because I was like, I feel like he's capitalized on it in a sense, but it's like,
but dude, not to the sense
really.
That I would have.
buddy,
I'd be like,
son, listen, as soon as they started showing up saying that crazy stuff to me, I'd be like, oh, y'all want some hats? Oh, y'all want some shirts? Let's get them made right now.
It couldn't be fast enough. Like, dude, I'd be working overtime.
Yeah, I would stayed up all night. The first post of mine that went viral, and they were like, we need jerseys, we need shirts. I'd have been like, let's go. Let's get those in.
Like when you have like, I don't know, 30,000 comments that are saying the same thing, you're going, okay.
Yeah.
1,000 times
it's
1990.
So wild, man. It's so wild. And really not because all of us, when you do the social media thing, like you have to, and you want to grow and you want to get views and you want to, we chase all this crap, this invisible crap. Posts like that, like what he's getting is really, he could have capitalized and sold some things, but as far as his following and his brand for fishing, and
it's not.
It doesn't do anything for you.
No, it doesn't. But
today.
Who cares?
I know.
Making killing on merch.
No, I get that part. I had a video go viral. I talked about it on the show a little bit last week. Got like 2.5 million views. Is me fighting a tarpon, this jet ski guy.
And I saw that.
It went viral because people just were like, I hope you die, you redneck. Why did you say this about the jet ski guy? It got out of my, and dude, I was like, whoa, like I woke up to just, really?
Yeah.
All right, this is where we're headed.
Yeah.
It did me no good. It's like, hey, I got a 2 million view video. It does you no good. Like it doesn't, like at the end of the day, doesn't grow anything, doesn't help LBL.
In James' case, like this is what's interesting about, and we're kind of getting off topic, but
but it's amazing.
Yeah, it is. But
more
like
amazing than forward-facing sonar.
Yeah, way better. So like the thing about the sport that I think we're starting to lose, and actually this kind of relates to forward-facing sonar a little bit, is guys are coming in, and I'm going to say guys, a lot of them are younger guys that don't really understand that this isn't a game to see who gets the most famous. Yeah. This isn't like, oh my God, he has so many Instagram followers. Like, that's cool. Like, no, we're here because we're passionate about it, but we're also here because we need to pay the bills too.
Yeah.
Like, we're not all just out here la-di-da. Oh, I have $10 million in the bank. Like, I'm just out here to fish around and it's fun. And I think that I don't want to say Live Scopes accelerated that. I guess it maybe has because more people are in the sport than ever. And it seems like, which is a good thing, but it seems like sometimes that Live Scope certainly accelerates the process of making it to the highest level.
1,000,000%.
So you have more of that lack of understanding because you haven't had the trial and tribulations of Fishing the open's failing. Fishing the open's failing. Fishing the open's failing. Fishing the open's failing. Having to get a job. Fishing the open's failing. I made the Elite Series. Like that's a 5 to 10 year process. Usually
for some, and then some never get out of it.
Right.
They never get out of it.
And it's not easier. I can't say it's easier because it's not. The opens are hard. The opens are so hard. It's stupid. Like I honestly wish we would give a free pass to like 10 people and I could go through my Instagram comments and just pick out like guys to be like, you're fishing the opens and I'm putting a live camera in your boat every day.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Yeah. But it definitely made it go faster for some. Faster than it would have regardless, like no matter like without scope.
And that's a lot of people's that's arguments that get brought up. And I agree.
Right? And I think that's a fair argument. It's not saying that I don't like scope, but I'm just saying like, so I think there are lots of you almost can't broad stroke it to just live scope though. And I will, to play devil's advocate just real quick. We also have this insane movement of, and again, and I hate the daddy's money crowd. I hate that screaming out, but I'm saying like you've got this just overwhelming, like you said, sport seems to be getting younger, growing in a sense with these young guys that, dude, they just fish, bro. Yeah. Like they just fish, man, and they don't have to worry about money.
No, and it's kind of coinciding with, because if you can couple not only this amazing technology, but with that time on the water every single day, it makes you a bad dude.
And let's not forget though, it also has to do with just the nature of the sport.
Yeah.
Like we're growing the sport, but meanwhile also saying, by the way, a new bass boat's $100,000.
No doubt.
You need $20,000 of electronics on there. And you need a 250 diesel to tow it around the country. So you're only in it for 250 G's. Like
that's all.
Be fine. Like, so that's where it's like, that's also a problem. Like it used to be that you could compete hardcore with a $20,000 bass boat.
Yeah.
So like, it's not just scope. I think it's everything. Like this sport is more, like this sport, like, it's not like golf or basketball or even golf. People are like, golf's so expensive, bro. I'm like, bro, no, it's not. You buy the best clubs in the world for $3,000. Congratulations.
Now, if you go play a bunch of expensive clubs all over the place or courses all over the place.
Yeah, no, but I'm talking about going pro.
I know, but yeah, I agree.
Because you're going pro, so your entry fee is, I think, like not that high. And your travel expense is high. But, dude, your startup cost, like to get good enough to consider going pro, dude, you find a local course or a couple local courses that are, in decent shape. You pay $100 a round. Okay. And you have a $3,000 golf clubs and you drive a Honda Civic. You can go get good at golf.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
You can't get good at fishing unless you have, you need to have some technology and you need to have a truck and you need to have a boat.
I think if you're going to compete, I think it's a bad message, and this is not what you're saying, but I think it's a bad message to younger folks. And I try to talk to them like, you don't have to have that to just go catch a bass and have a good time, man.
No, you don't.
Like you don't have to have that. You don't have to have that.
And you don't have to have it to get good either. But
to compete. If you're going to go to the elites, or if you're going to go fish Toyota series, you're going to fish, within the rules where they are now. Like, you got to have the stuff. You got to
have a reliable engine.
Yeah,
you have to have
to get there and back.
Which is why I choose to run Yamaha. Just saying.
Amen. Show enough, a good decision.
Show enough. You need to have a reliable engine. You need to have the electronics. You don't. I take that. I'm making a point when I'm saying you need to have $100,000. You can buy a $10,000-$15,000 boat, and if it's a good hull and you've got the electronics and the engine, you're good.
And you can get back. Yeah,
and you need to get back. Like
you gotta be able to get there and back, because that's something that's changed too. And we're jumping all over the place as I tend to do. But Swindle and I had this conversation at the St. Lawrence River, as a matter of fact, because all these guys are talking these 100-mile runs at Messina or whatever. And I'm like, dude, do you remember when just like if one guy did that, you were like, oh my God, Brandon Palnick ran 3. What a crazy human being he is. And now it's like, oh, well, 70 of the 100 are going. You're like, nobody cares anymore. But that's a testament to the equipment too.
But you also don't have a choice anymore.
Exactly right.
Like if 80 guys back then were doing it, you're like, well, what? I mean, so 10 of them break their equipment. Like I'm still not getting a check. I have to go.
Yep. Yeah, dude. It's amazing all these factors that are going on. And I do, I think the sport is growing to a certain extent, but numbers and some of this stuff are definitely showing that what you're talking about, that pinch of the financial part of it. My kids just signed up for a high school team here in my hometown, and it's had a good number of kids on it over the years. And I think we got 3 teams this year. And there's a lot of bass fishermen in my area. And man, that kind of, seeing that number kind of bugged me. I was like, they went and signed up last week, and my oldest called me and he's like, there's only 3 teams signed up at the time. And I'm like, no kidding. And normally we have a pretty good crowd over the years. And this is their first year wanting to do it, and us being involved. And I'm like, man, is that a testament to kind of where we're at? And of course, we're in a rough economy, and there's a lot going on.
Man. Like people talk about the industry, it's fallen since forward facing. It's like, that's just natural. That's the economy. Like a lot of that. I think it's tough. Like, dude, it's just a hard sport. Even in high school, your parents have to take the time off.
Yeah,
or whoever, boat captain. There's just a lot going on that makes this sport so hard. Like, and dude, thank gosh I had a job and was able to qualify when I did, because dude, like, I just don't know how, the older you get, the more responsibilities you have. Like, dude, I don't know if I could.
I would never ever
and qualify right now.
Yeah, there's no, I mean, dude, it's so hard. It's so hard.
And especially, like, I think it's going to get harder and harder and harder and harder. I think it'll get exponentially harder in like 20 years.
I think it gets harder every year, no matter the trail, man. You see the weights and I mean, dude, I see Alabama bass trail stuff like blows me away.
The weights.
Well, dude, those guys are they're just stone cold killers, but it's like the weights to get a top 40 check most places we go. And I'm talking about stupid, terrible conditions. And you'll be out there doing live coverage. I'm like, dude, there ain't no way they're going to catch them today. And I'm in my head, like, if I was fishing today, I would think this really sucks. And then it's like, oh, there were 58 bags over 20 today. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
Like, where do they pull all these fish from? That's really
man. Like, it's impressive to see how good fishermen are. But a lot of these, I would say, a lot of the old school guys, the veteran guys that are the foundation of our sport for the last 30 years, we've also given away the farm too, when it comes to showing folks the baits, showing folks the knots, showing folks, and that's their job, is to educate. But now all the young guys, everybody come, or even a guy that just decides to get into it. It's not a young guy. It's all at your fingertips. You can see so many things. You can sit in your house and learn so much now before you go buy the boat, before you go gear review. And
that's one of my arguments. And that's the opposite end of the argument about having it be so expensive that it's hard to make the elites. I think there's also less of a barrier to entry as far as competing now. Like, if you have the time and you were able to get out, like before, like it didn't matter. Like, you could not get good enough to compete on the Elite Series in 5 years or 10 years. Like, you just couldn't do it, because it wasn't a matter of your God-given skill or your practice. Like, you just didn't have enough time to graph the whole lake like they all had. But now there's less of a barrier there, and that's live scope. Yeah. So I think it's more inviting for someone to say, you know what? I think if I really put the time in and get really good, I might be able to compete at the highest level, because I have both the ability to fish shallow and I've got my live scope game dialed in. And now I can go to these lakes that I haven't been to and try to make the elites through the opens. So there is that side of it too. Like, and I bought a $20,000 boat. I put a new Yamaha on there, and I've got a trolling motor with live scope and a good mapping on the back. Like, I think I might be able to do this. And yeah, you have to take some time off work, but it's doable.
Yes, it's doable. Anything's doable if you want it.
Yeah.
If you want it, man. I know that's a cliche kind of stuff, but like, trust me, living proof. Yeah, make it happen. I like to hear friends of mine be like, man, I got too much going on in life to do all that. I'm like, buddy, I choose to wear about 5 or 6 different hats, but don't tell me that you ain't got enough time to do something.
Right.
You can figure it out. You can figure it out if you want it bad enough. And it is, I mean, dude, it's a lot of time off work with the open. Like, I get it. I get it. But if that's what you're trying to do, I think you're crazy if that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to be a Kyle Patrick. But It's
And even then, dude, it's still a grind when you get there.
when you get there, you're not on even ground ever, man.
You're not on even ground sponsor wise. You're not on even ground fishing wise.
Yeah.
Like you got to just keep getting it.
Yeah. You can't. And I think, guys like the Kevin Van Dams and the Jacob Wheelers, Gerald Swindles, Skeet Reeses, Ike and Ellie's, all these guys have shown you can never take your foot off the gas. Ever. I don't care whether it's on the water or with sponsors. Had Shaw Grigsby on a couple weeks ago. That was something that I really admired about him, man. Just his work ethic with sponsors, and he was always just so dialed in on all sides of the business. But yeah, you can never rest. Hell, look at Jimmy Houston. I mean, dude, these guys are rolling, and Hank Parker, and I mean, these are the cream of the crop guys. Bill Dance. They've made money, but man, they're still around for a reason. Like you gotta keep grinding.
100%. I mean, that's just in life.
Oh, you have to. You can never, ever, ever, ever take your foot off the gas, in my opinion. I get ready to sometimes. I'm tired, Kyle. But it's all good. Kyle, dude, I appreciate you, man. This was a lot of fun. Take care of your damn self, would you? Stay away from ticks. And now forever, you're just tick man to me. When the spider bit little Peter Parker. Yeah. And all I hope for you is that it's just 5-pounders on jigs from now on because of a tick. I don't know why that would happen because of a tick bite, but I'm hoping that Tick Man gets more jig bites than ever before.
Me too. Oh my God, that'd be awesome.
Tick bites for everyone if that's the case.
Seriously.
Sign me up. Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Patrick, Tick Man. See you, buddy.
See you, dude.
That's all she wrote with Tick Man right there. Kyle Patrick, I appreciate him taking the time out of his morning to spend it with us low-lifers, kind of tell us what's going on. And honestly, for me, it's more, tell his story, how he's kind of reacting to all of this, because obviously it's devastating for him. He wants to be out there fishing. But then from an awareness standpoint, like, listen, we're in the outdoors. You better be paying attention. Head on a swivel. These ticks are getting wild out here. Insane to me that this is going on for that young man. But I really, really, really appreciate him, and I really, really appreciate all you low-lifers for tuning in each and every week. I'm going to take you out with some Biloxi Blues, and I'll see y'all next time. See ya. And then the song just started over. Normally I start right there at like the halfway point, right? But now it's just like the intro again. I don't know. I've only been doing this for 8 years. I'll figure it out one of these years. See you again. Love you. See you. Bye. I'm really leaving this time. Fake walk off.
Summer heat never treats me kind. It leaves trouble on my mind. So I'm bidding farewell, putting in my notice, and I'll see you at another time.